What is going on, guys? Today we are looking at another tier list for midfielders, and we are now getting towards the end of FIFA 23. Obviously EA have got so much more information for the new one, and we are predominantly now not going to see many new cards. So realistically, once we've done our final ones on this, it's probably the last ones you'll see from this year, but don't worry, we will get straight onto them gold cards. So let's kick it off. We've got Zidane in number 1. I have cut down the list by tenfold because we've got a lot of fluff in there that literally nobody will play anymore, and we've got so many 84x10s to get plenty of good players, plus potential of team of the seasons to be added this Friday. If not this Friday, definitely next week it's got to be. So we have got the best of the best in here. Zidane on himself now. To be fair, I must admit, Zidane is normally S1 absolute clear. With the cards that we've got now, especially in that midfield, it is getting very, very hard for any cams or anybody specifically more attacking than they're defensive. For instance, Zidane doesn't have the 90 plus pace, the 90 plus defending, the 90 plus physical. He has the dribbling, the passing, the shooting. The 5'5" is always what's held Zidane up. In my eyes now, the 97 is still absolutely incredible, but when we show you the rest of this list, I feel like he's now into that S. If you've not seen him in anybody's teams, you know why. Zambrotta, on the other hand, a quality upgrade. I will say, Zidane, it will all based around your formation as well. I'm very tactical in having a very balanced midfield. I like my two centre mids to be able to go up, but more on that defensive as well. So that is personal preference on my half. And it's where Zambrotta, for me, would come in that higher rank, purely for the fact he can do both jobs. I know he probably can't score as much as Zidane, but most definitely he can defend and have that physical kind of mindset better than Zidane, in my opinion. And again, if you disagree, let me know in the comments what you think. It's all opinion based, and if you've played with a player longer than me, personally I've not played hundreds upon games with Zidane's trophy titans, but I have played a lot more with Zambrotta. I've definitely played more than both of them with Xabi Alonso himself, and I still love this card. Definitely on the kind of the lower end now more than anything, but a cracking SBC. If I was looking for him now, he's probably looking more into the A, which is unfortunate for him, but he did an absolute service for us. Witsel, on the other hand, great CDM card from obviously the level up promo. Love the upgrades along that. Would say he is kind of chilling more in the AS now than anything. And then we do have Vieira. One of the OGs in midfield. We've had him for X amount of years. He has always been phenomenal, and I can't necessarily put him in the S purely for the category of Zidane. I do think his defensive prowess is just absolutely incredible in comparison to maybe the attacking, but it is more his physical and stature that really kind of emulates the game, in my opinion. Verratti, on the other hand, totally different card to all six or five of them. That he literally is just the opposite of everybody. Does have a good amount of defending and physical, but it is that passing and dribbling that we like from him. I would say, personally for me, the passing kind of carries him through the A, probably just above the A in my opinion. So I am going to go with AS for him. Van Persie, on the other hand, another shapeshifter that is absolutely incredible. Do prefer his right wing in personal preference. More composure on that dribbling will always lead to a better card from that wing. And obviously you can change him in game if you want. As a cam, I think he's nice. He's definitely a well-rounded card in terms of the attacking ability, but I don't think he could personally go anything other than the S for me. We do have Virgil van Dijk though, 98 rated, gone up from the centre-back to a CDM, so not much of a position change, but the stats and just the general tallness, strength, everything that he brings from a centre-back role into that midfield is absolutely wonderful. And he obviously puts himself in that nice S1 category. Valverde, another one that I've absolutely loved this year. From the very start, from the first inform to the first player of the month, he has definitely been destined for, hopefully, a Futties. I feel like we missed out on him being a Futties because a 96-97 Valverde would be outstanding. He's got the pace already. You'd be looking at 97-98 pace alongside the 95 defending, 94 shooting. He is one upgrade away from being a stunning midfielder, especially with a 5-star, 5-star. Upamecano, on the other hand, love this card. I think he was a little bit expensive at the time of him coming out, especially with the fact that Futties was right around the corner, so I didn't really have too much of a chance with him. Was very, very little gameplay involved, but a nice card. He's got to go S purely for the stats alone, but I do think he's not necessarily my sort of card. I'd like to tell you about Skycoach.gg. They offer many features within the FIFA franchise, from FIFA coins to FIFA Weekend League boosts, from trusted sellers, pro players, and are the best prices on the market currently. They have fast delivery, high quality services, lots of games, and also a cashback program. The more coins you buy, the more eligible you are for cashback options. So if you want to buy FIFA coins at the best price, click the link in the description of this video. It will be active promo code for 10% discount from my subscribers. All you have to use is the code JT11 at the checkout to receive this bonus. Onto the video. Whereas Yaya Toure, on the other hand, is outstanding. We have been so lucky to get him into the team because he is incredible. From day one, we knew Yaya Toure. His build matched Vieira, defensive ability matched him, the height, the pace was all screaming a new centre mid to come into this hero icon fold. We had Vieira, we had Hullet, now we have Yaya, and again with this Futties, he has been just crazy good. Tonali, on the other hand, probably a little bit on the lower side in my opinion now. I would say he is kind of coming in towards that AS, maybe even into A in my opinion. I don't think necessarily he's going to be in many teams, especially with the amount of Futties cards we have got. Team of the seasons, unless they are the best of the best, have definitely dropped in my opinion. Tchouaméni, on the other hand, solid 96. Again, we've managed to get this guy and put him in the midfield for not too long because Milinkovic-Savic unfortunately did take out most of that space. He is just absolutely elite, and Tchouaméni could definitely do the same, so I am going to go into that S1 as well with him. I think in terms of the tall centre mids, he just fits the bill perfectly. Talisca, on the other hand, very much attacking orientated. The defending on him is just non-existent, but I do think he holds some sort of prowess with his kind of cam striker mentality. Him, Ronaldo, Romarinho, then obviously you've got your Al Jabbers and also your Al Warrens. Very, very nice indeed. I just think for me he is now slightly come away from the kind of nostalgic Saudi League really. Next year potentially could be the year though, but there is going to be a lot of competition for that team of the season. Socrates, or Socrates however you pronounce it, again, wonderful centre mid. Love him just like Zambrotta. And if Zambrotta's there, Socrates has got to be there. He is just, again, a perfect pairing in that midfield. Going from the cam to the centre mid was a great switch up for him. Sissoko, again, I'm probably easily going A with him. A nice CDM, but if you do compare him to any of the others that we're going to have in this, unfortunately, he is on that lower variety. Simons, Xavi Simons, beautiful cam. Again, one of the first team of the seasons that we got, alongside Bernardo as well, to be fair to him. And I do think from the very start, when we got the new upgrade, very nice. Good cam, cost a little bit more expensive than you'd kind of want if you didn't run an Eredivisie or a Dutch team, or didn't at least have Dutch kind of links for him. But in terms of a super sub, definitely added that little bit of flavour. Now, on the other hand, we've got a lot. We have got a lot of very, very high-end attacking players. It's where Bernardo Silva, for me, again, he's better than Simons, obviously. He is more of a cam slash, I wouldn't even say centre mid. His position says it, but I'm not running anybody in centre mid with 72 defending now. It's just not happening. Milinkovic-Savic being 100k from the SBC, if then you've managed to pack just one of these upgradable cards, he is a definite cam, if anything. Could again be a good one for a Futties to get into that proper cam. Even a shapeshifter like a wing roll would have really, really done him well. I'm half and half between him. I think what we've got, I'm going to go in AS for now, purely for the fact that I do think when we see the full list of everybody, he isn't going to stand up to some of them. And then we have the first normal Futties card away from the heroes in Shaqiri. Great SBC, love the card, he is rapid. He is technically more a winger, I do think, especially if you don't run a cam in your team. If you've got centre mids, he isn't a centre mid. He is a full-on winger for me. He is rapid. Ball control is fantastic. Great shot, passing, the whole works is beautiful. I do think he kind of caps out at the S in my opinion, but I do think as a very cheap SBC, such an easy starter team if you've only just started FIFA from getting the Game Pass or something. Busquets, nice CDM, lovely end of era SBC that you could have done, especially with the links from Jordi Alba from the end of era as well. Then the extra Barca cards we've had from Shapeshifter, from Level Up, and also from Futties. A cracking CDM, but definitely not one of the best, I feel like, in terms of an SBC. Good priced, but the card has got its level, and I think he's found it. Savanier, very similar, lovely crafting objective, love how easy he was to get done, but I do think, again, he is at a certain level, and at this point I think AS is probably about right for him. Again, when we see the cams, you will understand. One of the, well, I'd say one of the first, Ronaldo was the first Saudi player, but we've got Ruben Neves as a Saudi centre mid 95. Great card, love the premium factor of him, doesn't need any links, and he's 95 rated. A cracking centre mid. Haven't really seen him that much, to be honest. We give him a go right at the start of him being out, and it was a nice centre mid, don't get me wrong. He was very quick on everything, and that's the kind of difference now between your team of the seasons, your shapeshift, well, I say shapeshifters, level up, shapeshifters are probably just on that same level, but he's very quick with everything, the defending, the physical turning around, obviously the passing, the shooting. He's got the whole package, which I think is very nice for a cheaper centre mid. And then Ronaldinho, what? You're just going straight there. Cover Stars was a great addition. I've been leaked that Rooney is coming out this Friday, which I cannot wait for. Hopefully a good rating. I was kind of expecting Ronaldinho to be 99, but unfortunately he did miss out by 1, but still a wonderful SBC that you can complete. We then had Rodri as an objective, lovely 93. If you did his 91, you know how good this card can be, and most definitely this card again is just even better on the actual stats. So he has got to go above. I would have probably gone S1 if he came out as a team of the season at 93, but most definitely now is kind of in between. I feel like the cards in the CDM centre mid roles would be outweighed him by now. Royce, on the other hand, 97, was kind of the one that realised that they weren't going to do cover stars for just normal players. Royce, obviously Hazard, Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe, even Haaland if you really wanted to go that far for EAFC. But you have got normal players that are still playing on the cover, but unfortunately it is all going to icons. So Royce deserves his shout at that S1, and we move on to Renato Sanchez. Another wonderful centre mid, and this is what I mean. We have got just crazy amounts of centre mids that just emulate the best of the best, and I think it's one thing this year, you probably get the same every year, that at the end there is such an option. It is almost your ultimate team rather than just the same 11 players. You see it with the golds to start with. Obviously you get the standard 11. You maybe throw a few icons in there if you've managed to pack it, but it's the same for a while. You maybe get a couple of promos. You get a Ronaldo 95, everybody wants him. Now we've got 7, 8 midfielders already out of the 85 I picked that are the best of the best, and you could play all of them. We then have Rabiot, another great centre mid that came from the Serie A team of the season. Lovely stats for Aaron. This is the sort of card that kind of keeps his worth even into a couple of promos after. Maybe again you look at Ruben Neves, very similar in terms of the stats throughout. So for me, he's always got to be in there. The kind of difference now between these and Futties is always going to be 5-star weak foot, 5-star skills, a 5-5, because naturally that's what you want to go to. A 5-5, 90 plus stats on everything. That is your almost perfect midfielder. You throw in height, build, lengthy I suppose as well, then you've got the perfect centre mid. Petit, on the other hand, a lot of people like him. I really didn't fancy him. I like his centre-back card. I think it's much better than the cam. For me, he is no more than an AS. And I know I've said this before, and most definitely I can imagine the same comments will come. People really like him. I just thought he was a little bit underwhelming. In terms of being on the ball, wasn't as good as, say, your Royces, say, obviously, your other cams that we're going to get to. I just didn't find that same vibe with him. Centre-back much better, and I think it's less of a pressured situation that works for him. I just didn't think he worked in that cam. Perisic, on the other hand, standard cam, loved his out of position from the very start. Again, another nice card that you can get done, and I believe if you're watching this on today, so what day are we on? Thursday, then obviously he's got one more day left until Friday, and then he's gone. 186 rated team is all you've got to give, as well as a team of the week or team of the season. So if you want him done, last warning if you're watching him on the day. Pedri, on the other hand, another nice card. I do think with this card as well, 5-5 on him. The one thing that he was lacking was the ability of shooting and defending. Everything else was really nice. A very different step up for him. I didn't think he would get a card of this caliber in Team of the Season. So it was a refreshing La Liga centre mid that you could get, especially with the downfall. Well, I say the downfall, but the retirement pretty much of Xavi and Iniesta. I know Iniesta's still playing, but the added bonus of getting another Barca centre mid is wonderful. But he is now in the kind of AS, definitely an S category card once he did come out. Palhinha, nice and easy A, great when he came out, but now we are slowly going away from them sort of cards in my opinion. Same with Odegaard, to be honest, another one that should have been on that shortlist for a Futties because he would have been a fantastic 96-97 Futties. Still yet to come, we've still got a whole new team to go, which is 6 or 7 players, but we still move with it, and Neymar's obviously on the shout this one. Whether we see Mbappe in the next one is going to be the interesting one. We've had Ronaldo, we've had Messi, now Neymar. Mbappe, Haaland are the final 2 for the 99. So I'm interested to see whether we get them. Obviously, this Neymar's in S1. You just can't not. And to be honest, same with Musiala. I really like him as a cam. And even though stat-wise, he doesn't necessarily compare much to the Royce sort of card in terms of the whole package, but I think he's absolutely brilliant. We've given him a go during the Bundesliga and then again at the rest of the world. I still loved him. It was still a wonderful, wonderful card that you can get in your team. And hopefully, with Team of the Seasons, if they do come in packs, would be a great addition to anybody's team. And then we have Modric. Modric is a wonderful centre mid. He's always managed to just get them stats that are good enough to keep him in that top caliber. He's still a wonderful centre mid, probably getting towards the later part of his career now, which he's had a wonderful one. Real Madrid, even his time at Tottenham, I know necessarily they didn't win anything, but what he's shown gave him that move to Real Madrid, so he is still cracking in that centre mid. I would say by the end of next week into the transfers, he more than likely would drop into an AS. But I do think what he still brings on the pitch with, again, the Verratti-esque dribbling, passing, and the pace, he is still absolutely one of the better ones you can get in your team. We then have Mkhitaryan from the monthly calendar. I believe he should be either in your team or is next FUT Champs. If, say, you win 11, I personally stay at 11 every week. It's no deal. Obviously, we've got Konate coming next week, so I'm assuming he's next because we had Muriel, we had somebody else, and then well, we had the left back, I want to say, from the Eredivisie. So I believe Mickey is next. A wonderful 5/5 cam, definitely one of the better ones that you can get, and totally free if you play the game. I like to use that word loosely because technically you do have to use your time, but it doesn't cost you a penny. Milner, on the other hand, again, nice end of era. Love the career that he's had. It's been a long-standing one, but I do think in terms of the card himself, it's just never been FIFA orientated. It just is what it is. Muller's not had it at all any year, so it's not as if it has any reflect in real life. It is just totally in the game. I just don't see him at all. Now, Milinkovic-Savic has taken the game by storm. Him and obviously Cech are 2 positions that will never leave my team. 6'8" as a centre mid, lengthy with the stats that he's got, is just stupid. Genuinely stupid. I don't know if they knew that this would happen, but obviously with goalkeepers, the lengthy meta applies to them, and they are wonderful. They are literally incredible. They do get a bit boring because I see them every single game at the moment, but he is that good. Milinkovic-Savic, his brother, not as much. I do think he's solid in when he came out, but now, yeah, he is unfortunately not in there. And it's a shame that his brother, the goalkeeper, has got a better outfield card than himself. It's the irony in it, but I suppose it is what it is. Moreno, love the card, definitely dropping down now, but a lovely cheap beast if you wanted a centre mid and you don't have many coins. Obviously, he will be at like 40, 35k because of the inflation of all of the SBCs, but he still is a great centre mid if you wanted to get a really, really cheap centre mid. Matthias, easy. Absolutely easy. It's a shame we never got any kind of Futties icons. I know we have cover stars technically, but 1 a week is not enough. I do think Matthias with a 96 overall would have been just outstanding. And whether we see that in the next game with now the mids and primes going, it's definitely one to be interested in because I do think it could make some absolutely insane cards by the end of the game. Imagine 98 Van Persie, Matthias, Petit, Blanc. there could be a good end to next year, but we have to wait and see. We also then have Martial, lovely centre mid, love the shapeshifter, high rated, very, very good in that centre mid. I do like him on the wing still if you can change him out of position, which is very easy with the shapeshifters that we've got. I think he's a very, very good one, but I do think the pace is the massive gimmick with him. Pace and dribbling, which we have in an abundance of a lot cheaper cards that you can get. Makalele, a great card when he came out, now definitely in the lower end. I'm surprised I didn't get rid of him from this list because realistically, he is done. When are you ever going to see a Makalele in a team? Unless they are playing for an objective or obviously just a really big Makalele fan. That's it for him. McAllister, on the other hand, another SBC, transferred from Liverpool, transferred from Brighton to Liverpool. Nice card upgrade, obviously 94 with a very well-rounded base. I'd probably say more towards the AS now, in my opinion, just purely from the fact that I do think he was a little bit expensive at the time, but then also, like we've seen Mickey, the stats that he does possess, he may not have the same defending, but in attacking prowess, I would probably prefer more Mickey than McAllister. Lumeka, beautiful card. Love the, what was it, the upside down challenge or something like that. It was a great addition. I like that you got an extra 94 card. My favourite is going to be Lynx. Loved him. Premium as well. Obviously, with Lumeka, he is not a premium, so you have to find some League 2 links, I want to say. It might be League 1, but English links as well. So I do think in terms of the kind of bottom standard of him. Luis Figo up next, another icon or shapeshifter icon that did have two versions, a striker and a centre mid. Love this card. I felt like he was a very, very nice addition going from his right wing normal position. I always liked his kind of base that was that cam. Very, very well kind of molded into that centre mid, and it's why I do think shapeshifter, even though it felt long, was a very successful promo for some really nice cards that you can still use in the game today. There is a lot of Futties out, and I almost like that they've tried to add more Futties in, because one a day isn't enough for Futties. And I know the argument is, how many people have got Neymar? Ronaldo's still extinct. How many people have Messi? But if you look at the grand scheme of all of the lower cards as well, the Ruben Neveses, the Diego Carlos, the Insignes, there is a lot still about that you can get. I guess that it is just a factor that we can't get the best of the best, which I suppose at Futties is the whole point. Still hope that they do something about that. Unfortunately, the Serie A centre mid is going to go back down here. Not too much to talk about. Lloris, very much like a Martial. Lovely addition into that centre mid role. And I do think in terms of him, I think most of the goalkeepers did well. They absolutely benefited from having a shapeshifter out of net. It just works for them. Again, height is going to be the massive factor, but I do think Lloris in a centre mid role was very nice if you managed to pack him. Loriente, love him. Love the card in terms of the centre mid version. Can play right back as well. Right mid, centre mid, right back. So many different positions from him. His gold card is always outstandingly balanced, whereas I do think this centre mid was probably lost a little bit just to the fact he was expensive, and we already had a lot of good centre mids, so it was either you packed him and you used him or not. Whether I'd say he's in that same sort of boat now, I'd probably be looking more towards the AS, like most of the Team of the Seasons. He is a very, very good player, and just the fact that they're in AS still means they are playable. If they're on this list, it means they are still relevant in the game. They may not be totally relevant, that's more towards the A category, but AS to S1, I would still use, I'd say, a good portion of them. Lamar, on the other hand, one that I am very, very, well, I'm slightly disappointed, to be honest. I felt like the card would be better. He is just a little bit underwhelming, and I don't know what it is with that card. His stats are absolutely insane. Pace, dribbling, passing, 90 on the shooting and defending, 84 physical. You kind of take your kind of ups and downs. You whack an anchor on him. He is a perfect centre mid. And yet I don't like playing with him. He's a good card, definitely. A 96 for, I say a free card, but a very sweaty card to try and get. He just wasn't all that, and it's such a shame. He's obviously an S card, but I had 100% shout. As soon as I saw this card before playing with him, I'm like, yes, S1, they've given us a solid card for just playing the game as such. But unfortunately, he just didn't live up to expectations, in my opinion. Again, let me know if you've managed to get him and what you think. I just think in terms of the centre mids I've got, I don't think he makes even the bench. And yes, we have got a very stacked team, but most definitely he should be on the bench nonetheless. Kroos, on the other hand, wonderful card. Love the Kroos. I used his winter wild card for a long time. 5-star Kroos with the pace upgrade is absolutely immaculate. Kimmich, on the other hand, though, we've obviously got a 96. Goretzka managed to get the better of him. I thought Goretzka was going to be next. In terms of a CDM now, I would kind of argue he's here. He is breaking from the S into that AS now. I feel like we get 1 or 2 more CDMs that go above him, and most definitely he drops down. So we're going to put him in his own little separate row in between, even though it is AS technically. He is literally on that bound before me because he is an S CDM. But with the amount that we're getting now, even your Rodris, you're looking at then obviously your Valverdes, your Rabiots, even just some of the lower ones that have the defending like Lloris, they are taking that new stem of centre mids out from him. We also have then Kessie, lovely CDM. This is an absolute balling card. If you started the game from the very, very start, you know Tchouaméni, Kessie one to watch was an elite pairing. And most definitely it's come full circle with a level up Tchouaméni and a Futties premium Kessie. A wonderful CDM that I don't think, I want to say he is not that expensive, but could be totally wrong. And he could be a lot more expensive than I thought. He is currently coming in as a premium Futties. Yeah, okay, he's a little bit more expensive than I thought. 815,000 coins. Okay, fair enough, but an absolutely unbelievable card. And to stay that price, I know he's out of packs technically, but what a card he is. Conte, again, got to give the respects. Hopefully not the last Conte we see, because he again is an absolute FIFA icon. He will go down as one of the best centre defensive mids, consistent wise, on a gold card for the last 10 years. Absolutely unbelievable. I don't even know. I think it was his first move to Chelsea. Obviously got a rating increase. He then just took the game by storm. So we're looking, he transferred to Chelsea in FIFA 17. From 17 to 18, he got himself his first 87. From that point until probably this year, even his 89 wasn't necessarily the big one, but once we got into the FUT birthdays, he's just absolutely clear. Kaka, on the other hand, love this Kaka. Again, another one that could get a cover star. I want to say he is in, I would search for it, but I would get a cover star, I'm pretty sure. But he is definitely in that S for the icon. He definitely needs the upgrade if he wants to go one more above. Could have potentially been S1 with a proper upgrade for the ECL, but unfortunately he didn't. Joe Linton, straight in the A, nice and easy one. I feel like Bruno G and him are now in that point where I just think there's better centre mids. We then have Ivan, nice premium, one of the lower ones that definitely is coming in at a lot cheaper price now, which you could imagine, again, for the lower sort of Futties premium. He's currently coming in as an objective. I just remembered as like 0 price, so he's either extinct at 10k or he's not in the game. Obviously more of an objective card. I want to say, I don't think he was one of the daily objectives. He might have been for the Lamar objective, so that might have been where he's gone. We've obviously got Havertz next. Again, a great Barclays Premier League. A great Premier League SBC that came out during the team of the season. Once Prem stopped and you didn't have the Prem Cup, he just faded quickly. I wasn't a massive fan. I felt like I had better strikers in Harry Kane and just Isaac's fantasy foot, so he didn't really get too much chance. Obviously, we gave him a go to see what the card would be like, but unfortunately, just didn't live up to that potential. Maybe as a cam or a winger might do a little bit better, but most definitely not on my list as a better cam in the game. Gravado, beautiful card, love the shapeshifter, and now a move to City, which could just emulate this next card. Just stay clear, because that card next year is going to be absolutely filthy. I can already call it. He's going to be crazy. Him and Diaz together should be absolutely immaculate in a big upgrade version. Gundogan, definitely on the lower side now. Never really got on with Gundogan's any card, to be honest. He's an okay card, but most definitely not on any of my lists to take a centre mid spot. Hullet though. Hullet's easy. Maybe a centre forward, but you whack him in centre mid and you have a good time with him, because Hullet is always going to be elite. You could have 199s. Hullet is always in the debate and he will never change, unless literally the next meta is defensively small players. Could be the case, but most definitely Hullet would find a way. Goretzka, on the other hand, another 98. We got the KDBs, we got the Goretzkas and the Virgils. He, again, is absolutely elite. Takes over Kimmich, most definitely, and normally it tends to be the other way around because everybody loved a DM in Kimmich. Goretzka was kind of that byproduct that you'd link them together. This time round, Goretzka takes the crown. Gedson, another great premium, and one of the better ones in terms of the very, very first team. The premium, the great centre mid ability. I want to say he was, a 4-star, 5-star at 73,000 coins. An easy S if you've ever used him. Efficiency on the price, and a great stat to go with it. Fofana, on the other hand, definitely now dropping down in terms of what I kind of held him at a certain standard. Trying to think whether I'd go A or AS. Realistically, if I'm looking at a DM role, he can be box to box, but he is predominantly more defensive orientated. Tonali, I'd say they're on the same sort of level. Other than that, Milinkovic-Savic is kind of more box to box, if anything. In terms of the DM, I would prefer him over Palhinha, would prefer him over Sissoko. Definitely going in the A then. I feel like he's kind of on that bridge. I don't see many people using him, but he's still got better stats than that A category. Enzo, what a taste of a beautiful card we could have next year. If he does manage to kick on in this new performing Chelsea team with Poch, he could be a star. He could absolutely be there. I feel like this card is designed for S, so we will see how he goes in the near future. Felix, on the other hand, love him. Absolutely love. Always, whenever I get a high-rated Felix, he just gives me that Griezmann vibe. To start with, nice. He's a good gold card, but predominantly turns into fodder very quickly. You start getting a couple of upgrades, and he starts to get a bit more notice. Once we get that 94 and above, he is absolutely crazy. Definitely as a cam, if I'm going for Royce in that top zone, he is now on the brink of that S to S1, but I would say he's kind of under Royce and Ronaldinho and Musiala just at this moment. But again, when his shapeshifters did come out, he was absolutely clear. Fekir, on the other hand, a little bit underwhelming this year. I felt like he couldn't get any better than last year. He just worked really, really well. This year, not as much impressed in my opinion. I feel like he's a standard good cam, but he's definitely not making the high ranks. Depay, on the other hand, very much like Lloris and obviously Martial, good centre mid in terms of he can push out on that wing in game. As a centre mid himself, the defensive prowess of him is beautiful, but I do think he does lack that kind of all-round centre mid. He just is that ball carrier that goes through, but also can make that challenge on the way back as well. Dembele, clear in the S1. To be honest, both of the Barca boys. This is what I said with Busquets. Once we obviously got a few of them Barca lads, we got De Jong, we got Gavi, Pedri already had a 95, Alba. There is so many of them that make such a good team. And if you've not checked out the best La Liga short, go check on the shorts and you can see how many Barca players is actually in that. KDB, we're not going to do him dirty. He is coming straight up here as the second 99. We got Pele. Was it Shapeshifter then Level Up? I don't know why for some reason I thought it was Level Up then Shapeshifter, but in terms of the 99, one of the only ones. We've got him, Pele, and somebody else that has completely escaped my mind. It will come to me eventually. I swear we... Oh, of course, Messi and Ronaldo now, but before that we didn't have anybody. Danger, nice easy CDM. He's going to go in the AS. Nice little cheeky free card from the objectives, but that is about it. Unfortunately, Casemiro's got to go in that A. I think he has kind of outlasted his usefulness now. Maybe has that physicality side to him, but that's all he's got really. The defensiveness is good, but pace, everything about him is just too slow in comparison to what we have now. Carvalho, another great card. The only thing that would put him into an AS, into an S for me is does he... I don't think he has that 5-5, but just in case he does... Nah, 4-5. I did think so. He's obviously on loan from Liverpool to Leipzig. Another nice card, but I would say in terms of not having that 5-5, he just can't be up there. If McAllister's there, then obviously he's got to be there as well. Now, I'm going to... Çalhanoğlu. I want to say I got that right. We're not saying the name again because I always mess up this name. What a centre mid. Great addition for, obviously, an objective. You got the upgrade from the 94 to the 96. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Caicedo, another nice CDM, obviously at the time. Again, always say this with Caicedo. He just came at the wrong time, unfortunately. Just purely for the fact we had, what, a 25 times 83 or him during Prem Tots. there's very few that you'd click that. Bruno G, very much like Joe Linton. I personally think he's past it now. Great card, lovely upgrade from obviously his previous version, but now he's just not in there. Same as Brandt, to be honest. Again, when he came out for the Bundesliga team of the season, good for the Bundescup, and then once he kind of fell off a little bit, that was it. And then we have Benazir. Now, the turnaround for him was incredible. So, we get an 82 to start with, manages to get himself a cheeky 85, goes into the knockouts, I want to say, managing to get to 87, not a bad little shout. Then, just before team of the season, gets himself his fantasy foot, goes all the way to 90. He then gets a team of the season at 92. The last week prior to the ultimate team of the season, we then do Shapeshifter, then obviously level up, and then we get a Futties 95. A great come up from him, a 90, a 92, now a 95. 4-star, 5-star still. The 5-5 may have just approached him into that S1, but he most definitely is an absolute baller at 176,000 coins. Bellingham, one of the best centre mids I've used. He is just impeccable. Again, a transferred Real Madrid 99 Bellingham has got to be on the cards. During pre-season or the end of FIFA, we tend to get the absolute monster SBCs for your 99 Bellinghams, your Gravadols. Obviously, then you look at your, maybe even, do Højlund get one? And whether he gets one is kind of there. Mason Mount, Declan Rice. There is a lot to come that hopefully they do it justice, because Bellingham as a 99, 5-5, the best centre mid on the game. Barella, still coming in very useful. He is definitely going in that S category as a centre mid. In terms of the Serie A, like we've seen with a lot of them, with obviously Benazir and all of the other kind of centre mids we've got from Futties, Shapeshifters in the Serie A, he could still pop up as a name to use. Bailly, on the other hand, lovely centre defensive mid, very, very effective in that CDM role. Another one I personally really do like in that going from centre back to a CDM shapeshifter. Then we have Ant-Man. Beautiful card from yesterday. Obviously coming in as a premium. Never going to complain. A 5-star, 4-star. Most definitely a nice objective. Whether he really holds up, he's got that 99 dribbling, but I do think the card will be more gimmick rather than necessarily somebody who stays in a team. Adeyemi, again, very similar. Would say he's definitely under Depay and Martial, so there is no way that I can put him in that sort of category with him. He was one of the cheaper ones from the mini release, but most definitely still had a place to go in the shapeshifters. And finally, Acuna and Zola. Acuna unfortunately didn't get the 5-5, which I think is a damn shame, because Shapeshifters last year for him was amazing. Him and Trent and also Atal, centre mid, 5-5, great boost. He just didn't have it. He's definitely still up there, but most definitely could have been that little bit better. And then finally Zola, a great cam, lovely shapeshifter icon, a standard F, nothing too crazy from him, but still gives you that icon feel whenever you play with him. And that is going to be my list. Let me know down below if there's anything you'd change on this. Like I said, all opinion based. It is not factual that these are where all the cards are. From playing with pretty much 95% of these cards for more than 10 games, that is my personal preference. Let me know down below what you think. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all tomorrow for the Futties Team 4, if it's coming out. Peace!